Hello my comic fiends, yes, Ghost Critic, back with another little mini-pode. And I don't recall actually mentioning this title last year. It was one of those times when I was in the comic book shop and it was a bit of a poor week, and I turned around and said, recommend me something. Something different, you know, doesn't have to be from the big two, you know, something out there, just go for it, you know what I like. And so he handed me this. I don't know if you can see that with the light, but it is a comic called The Bulletproof Coffin. And it was amazing. The only thing he didn't tell me was, when he gave me this, it was already up to issue 5, and he didn't have 2, 3 and 4. And wasn't likely to. So I scoured around, not very hard, it has to be said, but didn't get any of the rest, which I was incredibly disappointed about. But I thought, a trade's going to come out eventually, surely. And it did. Here it is. 6 issues of The Bulletproof Coffin. What is The Bulletproof Coffin, I hear you say, because I haven't heard anyone talk about this title, and they should. This is got David Hine on writing and Shaky Kane is the artist. And what these guys have superbly done is just create this incredibly surreal, compelling universe where, like, comic book characters from like a golden age, I hate to say the word, are real, but I'm going along that lines. This is going to be slightly spoilerish because it's going to be very difficult to talk about otherwise, but I'll try and keep the spoilers to a minimum because I want you to pick this book up. I want you to just devour it like I did, because it is well worth it. If you like things that are, you know, not of the main two, that are not guys with tights on in the sense of like Superman or Batman or all that kind of stuff. The story revolves around a guy called Steve Newman, and he's what they call a voids contractor. Basically what this means is he goes in and cleans out dead people's houses. Now he's a bit of a geek like all of us. He has, you know, lots of really old kitsch cult type toys. He has really old comic books, stuff, you know, all the kind of cool geeky stuff that a real collector has. And he, you know, he gets to go in these houses and he takes his pick before, you know, taking it all off to the dump or for selling to pay off the estate or whatever. He also has this dysfunctional family that he hates. His wife, he doesn't love her anymore. He's got these 2 incredibly obnoxious kids, and just the weirdest dog you have ever seen. And he goes into this, it starts off and he goes into this house and he finds all this amazing stuff that shouldn't really exist. And these includes these comic books. Now they are all, the comic books he finds, it's very, I mean, even the comic book itself, it's kind of very reminiscent of the EC comics of the 1950s. A lot like Tales from the Crypt, for example. And these comics he finds arrange, you know, different characters, different genres. You've got this character called the Unforgiving Eye, which is just this guy and he's got this huge eye and he knows things he shouldn't. You've got Ramona, Queen of the Stone Age, which is one of those kind of scantily clad heroines from a Stone Age era. Then you've got Shield of Justice, which is kind of like a cop crime comic. Red Wraith, which you don't actually see much of in here, which is a shame because it was a really good character. And then Coffin Fly, which is the guy right in the middle here. And all these comic books he finds and reads, and you do actually get issues of the comic within this comic. It's a very, very cleverly plotted story. And the comic books are kind of, they have clues in them and indicators to some particular future event that's going to happen to our world. Now, the storyline it focuses on Steve's attempt to like alter the future by stopping the creators, Hine and Kane, from doing something that would inevitably destroy our universe. It's a story within a story within a story. Oh, isn't that clever? Now, Hine, he just writes this such an engrossing story. There are twists, there are turns, there's shocks, surprises. It is made to feel like one of those, you know, the kind of bygone age, the golden age of comics, even down to they put in like old style adverts, like, can you see that? Yes, kind of a shrunken head container. What else was there? There was actually babe magnets. So, you know, you used to see those adverts where you'd send off a coupon and you would get X-ray specs, or you could see through girls' clothing, that kind of stuff. It is very fun and enjoyable to read. And it does create its own story within that, its own history. They call the actual company that produced these comics the Big Two. It's very self-referential. Even to the point, it did remind me a great deal, especially towards the end of the series, where Steve meets up with Hine and Kane. It is very... If you remember Grant Morrison's run on Animal Man, when he turned up in the comic, it's that kind of breaking down of the fourth wall, where, you know, the characters are actually talking to you, but Hine and Kane, they don't care about walls. 1, 2, 3, or the fourth wall. They don't care about it. They break it all down, and it is just fun. Now, Kane's art, it's not going to be to everyone's taste. It's scrappy, it's rough, it's very shambolic, but it works. This isn't your Jim Lee kind of artwork where it's all very detailed. Well, this is very detailed, but not in a kind of clean, crisp way. I say it's very scrappy, but it is a whole lot of fun. And if you want something that's not of the norm, not, you know, kind of history based, as in decades and decades of history, then please go out and pick this up in trade. It's very cheap. I paid a little bit extra because I've got a signed copy by the writer and the artist. But there is just so much fun to be had in here, and you'd be a fool not to pick it up. Now, what are you waiting for? Get out there. Bye.